everybody. I'm gonna get this set up. Let's see here. Every time I enlarge it, it stops moving. But that's okay. I can do it small. All right. It is almost time. So thanks for coming in. If you are already here and live, go ahead and type live in the comments so I know you're watching, because you haven't started rowing yet. Welcome back to Club Shed. That is the name of my shed gym that we are in. It has a one little streak of sunshine and these little string lights, and that's the only light I have in here at the moment. But it is a perfect gym, so I am not complaining, not even a little bit. So what we're going to do today, welcome, by the way, to another UCanRow2 live rowing workout. I'm Cassie Neiman. I am a master rowing instructor with UCanRow2 and Concept 2, and I teach rowing online and in person. I give rowing programming, rowing coaching, technique tips, things like that. I'm also a barbell strength coach with Starting Strength, and I primarily do that on a day-to-day basis. So I'm doing a lot of different things these days because everybody's at home lifting different things. But if you're watching, then you probably have a rowing machine. So you have one at home or wherever you are. So hopefully you can row along in this workout, or you can just watch, figure out what the workout is, listen to me do it, and then go do it on your own. It's up to you. So what we're going to do today is we are going to do a stroke rate pyramid. And I say pyramid because it doesn't go up and then down. It kind of goes up and down. I should call it hills, rolling hills. I think that's what they call it on the treadmill. I'll think about that for next time. Stroke rate, rolling hills. So we are going to start with checking on our three things: our damper, our feet, and our butt. Make sure those are in the right position. Then we're going to do a drill to warm up. It's going to be the reverse pick drill. We'll do a little continuous rowing after that, and then we're going to go into our piece, which is going to be 10 minutes. And the first 2 minutes of that is going to be like a little bit more of our warm up. So we're not going to do quite as long of a warm up today because we're going to kind of warm up into that piece at a nice low stroke rate. And then once we flip into the next stroke rate, we'll bring in a little bit of intensity. But the idea today is, again, not to go 100% max effort, fall off the machine, pool of your sweat kind of thing. What we're looking at today is trying to master the stroke rate. So there's kind of these two things happening when you're rowing. One is how hard you're rowing, how much force you're producing and pushing in the machine, and how much power output that produces. And then the other thing is how fast are you going? So how many strokes per minute are you rowing at? And when we can manipulate the two of them, when we can master those two things, then we can become the best possible rower that we can be, because we're trying to make our rowing stroke as efficient as possible with this machine and the way it works, which is keeping that flywheel spinning. So we're going to take out the intensity part of this. I mean, we're going to talk about it, but I'm not going to vary that. We're going to ramp up into something that's sustainable, something where you can talk, but you don't really want to. Not where you could sing a song or have a conversation, just a little more than that. And then we're going to vary the stroke rate. So we're going to, as we're rowing, we're going to talk about how to change those speeds without kind of jacking up everything else in your stroke, and how to be the most effective when you do shift it. And the reasons why it's important to learn how to row at different stroke rates, because it depends on what kind of piece you're doing, right? If you're doing a marathon, you're not going to want to do that at a 30 stroke rate because you will be exhausted at 10 minutes in. If you are doing a 100-meter piece, you might want to do that at a higher stroke rate because you can sustain that for 100 meters. And also, it's about finding what is most effective for you. And the stroke rate along with the damper setting, the drag, and all the things, how much force you can produce, all those things together is what makes an efficient rower. And that's what we want to be. We want to be efficient movers. So that is why we're going to do some stroke rates today. It's going to be 10 minutes of continuous rowing. And I'm going to show you how to set up the monitor, but we're going to start with some tips on how to get yourself set up perfectly. We're going to go over a drill and so on. And this is the exact kind of layout that I have for every single workout in Row Ready. So every workout starts with a drill, and that drill is then kind of incorporated into the workout. And as we go through the reverse pick drill, I'll kind of explain how that applies to what we're doing today. So if you like the way this is set up, then check out Row Ready because it's awesome. Okay, step one. Let me see if anybody put this. Oh, looks like Bob is watching. Hey, Bob. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure our damper is in the right place. And what I would suggest, if you do not know where that should be, to put it between a 3 and a 5. If you are like, no, I know for a 10-minute stroke rate pyramid, I like to have it at, a 2.5. Well, you go for it, okay? But if you don't know, let's put it at a 3.5. That's the best place for us to experiment and start rowing. Second thing, our feet. Where are we going to put our feet? We're going to put the feet where the strap is at the widest part of your foot, kind of the knuckle of your foot, the bottom of your toes, the top of your shoelaces, and you're going to pull those straps nice and tight. So you're going to kind of pull them across. All right? Number 3, our butt, my favorite cue. Well, first I just want you to reach over and touch your toes. And you're going to get a nice little stretch in the hamstrings. Now with straight legs, I want you to reach behind you and literally pick your butt cheeks up. And you're going to kind of pull them back that way. Now you're not trying to walk back on the seat, so you're sitting on the back of the seat, or the front of the seat. We want to sit right in the middle, but we want our sit bones sitting down into the seat. Now you're going to reach over and touch your toes. You get a little bit more of a stretch. And then we're going to bend our knees, and we're going to come up and we're going to grab that handle. So what we're going to do is the reverse pick drill. And if you want, you can just watch first, and then you can join in. But contrary to some people's belief, it doesn't mean that we're just doing the reverse of the regular pick drill, which would be a full stroke and then arms and body only and then ending with arms only. That's not the reverse pick drill. That's just the pick drill in reverse. The reverse pick drill starts with legs only. So sitting up at the catch, let's go over our little catch checklist. We're going to have our heels maybe down, maybe just a little bit up, trying to get the shins as vertical as possible. Our shoulders are relaxed, arms are straight, our wrists are straight, our hands are out towards the edge of the handle. Our shoulders are down and in front of our hips. So if we drew a line down from the shoulders, it'd be about mid-thigh. All right, this is the optimal catch. So sitting up in this position, all we're going to do from here is just drive the legs down. Now, when you get to this position, you are going to all do this. You're going to open up because you want to. That's what our bodies want to do from that drive. We want to swing open and continue to transfer that force. So you have to kind of force yourself to stop by engaging your abs because we just want to use the legs. So we're going to do a few here of just driving the legs down. And coming back up. And I'm just going to check. Looks like this is, hopefully it's still going. Sarah will let me know if it's still going. So we're going to do legs only, right? And when you're doing this, you're keeping that body over, driving from the legs. You should be able to get a good push through the feet and listen to that flywheel kind of pick up. Let's see if I can pick that up. There we go. Yeah. So once we've got this down and we're not opening the body, we are going to swing the body open in 2 strokes. So that's 1, 2. And on this one, we're going to swing and close the hips. So right now we are opening the hips, closing the hips. Swing open and close. If you're going to open them, you got to close them. So now you can feel that force transfer from the legs through the hips. Coming up, driving back. Swing the hips closed and open them. You're still going to feel a little bit of a stoppage at the back because your body wants to finish that stroke with the arms. But we're keeping them straight. And then we're going to add in the arms in 2. That's 1, 2. On this one. And now we've got our full stroke. So legs, body, arms, arms, body, legs. So, as we're rowing here, the reason why I like to do the reverse pick drill is because it's going to teach us where that initiation of the drive comes from. And if you don't know already, that is from your legs. So, when we're up at that catch, the only thing I want you to think about as you start your stroke is that legs only part of the drill. So legs, then the body swings open. Legs, thinking about pushing through your feet into the foot stretcher and finishing it up after that. We're going to do a few more and then we'll rest. We'll rest on this one. So, pop that handle in the hook. Get a sip of water. Hey everybody. MP, Karen, Deborah, thanks for watching. I hope you can row with us. That would be awesome. So, the reason why I like to do the reverse pick drill before doing something like the stroke rate pyramid, besides it just being a great drill in general, is when we are shifting our stroke rates, we want to make sure that we're maintaining a connection at the catch so that the shift down, because we're going to do some shifts down, we're going to do some shifts up, but especially on the shift down, we don't want to lose everything. So we need to figure out how to maintain the strength on the drive, slow the recovery, and then find that connection at the catch. And what we don't want up at the catch is one of two things to happen. We don't want to open the upper body, right? As you can see, my hands are here, right? If we drew a line here, and then I opened up, I've moved 2 feet, and I didn't use my legs at all. So I used my low back, my upper body. These things are not nearly as strong as my legs. Alternatively, we also don't want this to happen. Right? Now the handle didn't move at all, and I've blown my legs. Now I don't get to use them at all, and again, my low back and my upper body are going to do the work. So what we're trying to do is put the work on the legs, and by the legs, I mean everything, right? Where's the most amount of muscle mass on your body? It's congregating right here. We've got our hamstrings, we've got our glutes, we've got our quads, even a little adductor. So we can use all of those things to put it in the drive and get something out of it. So as we're changing the stroke rates here, I want you to keep that in mind. All right, so our workout, we're going to set our monitor for 10 minutes. And we're going to fluctuate in stroke rates. So we're going to start at 18. You're like, oh, an 18, lovely, slow. An 18 is actually kind of hard. So we're going to row very slow. You can row with me. And we're going to kind of pick up some intensity as we row through that so that by the time we get to the next stroke rate, which is a 24, we'll be at about the pace that we're going to try and maintain for the rest of the piece. And it may be that your split fluctuates in this piece. It's fine. I'm not looking for it to be the same split the whole way through. In fact, I want you to kind of pay attention to what it does when we change the speed. But I want you to apply the same amount of intensity the whole time. Okay, so I'm not asking you to start at, well, I am asking you to start at a lighter level and then build up, but then we're going to maintain that pace through. So you're going to go to menu, select workout, new workout, single time, and then you can use the arrows over and the plus and minus to change it to 10 minutes. And then what I want you to check, just a few lines down, and it's probably set as a default. It'll say change split length, ? And it should say 2 minutes. If it doesn't, go ahead and change that. And the reason why I like to change that is so that in the memory, it will show you what stroke rate you held for those 2-minute increments. So it'll give you that feedback at the end of the piece. So if you wanted to change it, you could, but it should be the default because it divides it equally. So once it's at 10 minutes, you're going to hit OK. We're going to go up here. I'm going to go ahead and change my display so that it shows the 6 lines. I like the 6 lines, but you do want it to say /500 meters. If it doesn't, if it says calories or watts, just change the units. And you can change the display so that your stroke rate is in the top right-hand corner if you're in the 6 lines. And if you're in the 4 lines, it's in the bottom left-hand corner. So we're going to start up at the catch. And like I said, we're going to start at an 18. So pretty slow. All right. And we're going to kind of build up in intensity. Sitting ready and row. So nice and slow, and then a good drive. Slow and drive. So what you're going to do here, and I'm right at about an 18, if you find that you are waiting for me at the catch, then you need to slow down right here in your recovery. Slow down, and then go. What you don't want to do is wait at the front with a pause, because that's going to reduce your ability to connect and move right back out of the catch. So you may find that your machine says I'm at an 18, and then it says that I'm at a 20, and then a 19, and then a 17, and then a 21, right? It is hard to maintain the same stroke rate on every single stroke. It is a challenge, and it's something that you should try to do, because what we're looking for is an ability to master your body, your speed, your intensity, and all the things that go along with that, so that you can be the most efficient and effective rower. If you just sit on this machine and go hard all the time, you're not going to learn very much. Now we're coming up on 2 minutes, and we're going to take it to a 24, and we're going to do that by picking up the drive. So we're going to pick up the speed on the drive, not the recovery. We're going to do that over 2 strokes on this one. So we're going to pick it up right here. Pick it up, and then slow and drive. Then we're right back up. We're right at about a 23. So we're finally finding that 24. And you may find that your split has changed. And it may have gone down. You know, we like to say, row slow to row fast. So we want to master ourselves at these different stroke rates before we go flying back and forth on the machine. So I'm going to hit that 24. There we go. So you may turn into a stroke rate monster who wants it to be perfect every time. So, not forgetting our form, pushing down with the legs. Got about 30 seconds before we shift down to a 20. We're going to do that over 2 strokes. And we're going to do it by reducing the speed of the recovery. And what you don't want to do is pause at the catch. So we're going to do it over 2. It's 1, 2. Slow drive. Finding that 20. Still getting a good push through the legs. Let's see if I can hit it perfectly. Sitting at 21, very annoying. But remember, as long as you're in that range, not sitting a lot higher than what we've aimed, then you're doing all right. So remember, we're sitting up nice and tall, hinging from the hips. We're coming up on that middle mark. Sitting high up on our sit bones, not letting ourselves collapse at the finish so that we can get good reach forward. So the next one is going to be the highest. I may not be able to talk quite as much, but you can follow along. And again, we're going to pick up the speed on the drive, not the recovery. But we're going to keep the control as we do it. And we'll do it over, let's say, 3 strokes. Here we go. Pick it up. Finding that 26. There we go. Right on it. Just because we picked up the speed doesn't mean everything falls apart. You can see what your split is doing. We're also, over 6 minutes into this piece. So, if your split has changed a little, that's fine. Again, I'm asking for the feeling of intensity, not specifically the number. Let's see if I can get that 26 back. There it is. 1 more minute here. 3 minutes to go. Hi, Angela. Sitting up nice and tall. I like that I can see my form on the computer. It's helpful. Keep those fingers loose on the handle. Making sure you're not clenching it too tight. We're going to shift down to a 22 over 2 on the recovery. Here we go. 1, 2. Finding that 22. There we go. For these last 2 minutes. Right on. Sitting up tall. Thinking about driving your hips back to initiate the drive. Not letting your shoulders collapse forward. Think about a nice proud chest. Sitting up tall. I say that a lot Because what happens is people start looking down and collapsing like that. So we want to sit up, keep our eyes up. And when you're tired, if I just said, push harder, row harder, you'd hate me. So what I want you to do is just sit up a little taller, put yourself in an effective position, and you'll feel better. And you'll probably row further. Last 45 seconds. When we finish, we're gonna row for about 30 seconds at a nice paddle. We're gonna finish all the way through the zero first. Last 25 seconds. Shoulders stay down. Chest stays up. Getting the hands out. Right out of the finish. Let the body follow. We're gonna go all the way through the zero. And paddle. So a paddle is just a very slow stroke. You can hear that flywheel just stop humming or hum quieter. And you don't have to do much of anything except row with good form. Because the last thing you want to do is row like this. Because one, we're trying to train our brain to move in the same way every time we sit on the machine. But also, whenever we're rowing, we want to row in the most safe and effective way possible, even if we're just paddling. We're going to take 2 more strokes. It's 1, 2, and then we're going to put our handles in the hooks. Take your feet out, and you can do that by taking your thumbs, pushing on the plastic piece, push down, and as you do that, you can pick up your toes a little bit, and then you're going to lift your toes that way, your whole foot, and pull your heel out. Now, if you just try to pull your foot out, you'll get stuck. So lift your foot up, and then pull it out. Grab a sip of water. Now, that was just 10 minutes. And like I said, it was my rolling hills. You can, I would suggest if you want a little bit more of a workout, do 2 or 3 or even 4 rounds of this. And you can change up that stroke rate. I wanted to show you how we could go from a higher rate to a lower rate and then back up to a higher rate. You could do a pyramid where you just go up. You could do a pyramid where you just come down. You could do an actual pyramid or hill. You could do a valley. And you can do the rolling hills like I did. And this is very similar to one of the workouts in Row Ready. It's as I started the program, what was important to me was that we take the time to separate out the things that need to be mastered. And that includes your intensity, understanding the split, how do we produce power, how do we change the time on the machine, produce more calories, watts, whatever the unit is. Then also, we need to figure out how to move on the machine. Fast, slow, what tempo, what stroke rate, how to find that rhythm, right? And we can break those 2 apart and learn them, and then we can bring them together and apply them at the same time and see what happens. A lot of times people will sit down on the machine and row very fast back and forth without much force, without producing much power. And they get really exhausted because they're moving really fast, but they're not getting as much out of it, and more than likely, they don't like it. So by breaking this down and building up in this linear progression of learning, I hope you enjoy rowing more and you see what you're capable of versus just using it as a machine to get your heart rate up. So this is very similar to one of the workouts in there. And a lot of the workouts have a bunch of stroke rate changes. And in every workout, I tell you what stroke rate to do, what intensity relative to you. And, basically it's just all there for you. So anyways, looks like Sarah popped a link in there to Row Ready. So it's in the comments. And if you have any questions about it, I'm online all the time, guys. So just let us know and we will answer your questions and help you out with rowing as best you can. And again, thanks for joining me today. That one, I tried to take it easy, but it's hard when you want to get that stroke rate exactly right. But I hope you enjoyed it, at least if you watched it, and definitely if you got to row with me. So until next time, row strong, all right? And what did I just want to say? Oh, row strong is amazing, someone said. Thank you.